Yeah, it's going to work. Let's see, chat. Big love to Saskatchewan. Can we test it, Todd? Yeah, Facebook's live. So we're live on Facebook. There's Nicky. Let me bring Nicky up. Let me bring Ali up. Wait a minute. Is your camera on Zoom? Hang on. Hey, Nicky. Hang on. Okay.
Hi.
Yeah, we got you. All right.
Good.
We're missing. Let's see here. We're missing Ali and Amanda. I just put Ali on. Hang on. Ali, for some reason, you're not. You didn't make the jump to the screen. Anyway, she's going to contact Amanda. How's it going, Nicky? What are you doing?
Good. Yeah, I came on your link because I didn't get a link from you.
Yeah.
Have the other two got a link from you?
Yeah, it was the link in the post, you mean?
All right. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Ali said she was going to send it to y'all, but it's the same link anyway.
Yeah, all right. Okay.
Let me, oh, there she is. She's coming in now. Let's see, ask to start video. Ali. I sent you something, Ali, and it says to start your video. You see it? Hang on.
Bit noisy, mine.
That's all right. Yeah, something's unmute audio. I unmuted it. Ask to start video. All right, I'm just going to try something different. Make co-host. Okay. So, Ali, you should be able to come in now. I don't see Amanda. It's 9:30. Yeah, it's 9:30 in England, so we're on the right time. Ali, I don't see your. I made you a cup. There you are.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
There's a bit of a delay, and
yeah.
I am just.
Oh wait, you just got muted.
Oh.
And you turned your video off. I'm going to send you the note to start your video.
Here we go.
Okay, you got it? Now you're muted again.
we got a
you're good. You're good now. You're good now. Okay, we're all good except for Amanda's not here. Did you talk to her? I talked to her earlier today.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, earlier today, and she had a show earlier.
Yeah.
And did that, so I think she'll be here. Yeah. Probably divine time, right? You can't see me though, can you?
Yeah, we can see you.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
We see you just fine.
I can't see myself.
That's okay.
I wonder why. Okay.
Yeah, well, look on the. Hang on. Look on the top. Top right says speaker view. No, don't hit that.
Gallery view.
Yeah, don't hit that.
I won't hit anything. Oh, there we go. Okay, good.
Okay,
that's helpful because otherwise I'm just in the dark.
Okay, let me do one thing and let me.
Oh, Nicky. Mwah, mwah.
Let me put this on.
Hi, darling.
I love you.
Love you too.
Okay, here we go. And let me.
Todd, I love you too, by the way.
I love you too.
Yeah, we do.
We do. Okay, all right, let me get this.
Yes.
Okay. Whew, there's a lot of energy today.
Heck yeah, Kundalini.
I know, man.
Whoa. Are you sweating? I'm like literally just dripping. Yeah. Dripping. You know, it's funny because anybody on the street would just think that I was like, you know, just had an intimate experience. but we know that it's energy.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? This is very intimate, though. It's incredibly spiritually intimate. Also,
I was actually going to make a comment, but I didn't want to be accused of
Todd,
rude.
be yourself. Be yourself.
I was going to say right before this show, yep. You know, I don't know if I had to put a diaper on or what. I don't know what's going on. It's been.
I know, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
And I'm sitting in the sunroom, so I'm actually in the bakehouse.
Oh, no. Well, we don't want you completely baking.
Did you send Amanda? Here, let me send it to her.
Yeah.
Let me see if she's around. Paste. Okay.
Hi, everyone.
So there's 101 people in the house, and we're waiting on Amanda, but we could get started, I guess, without her.
Actually, Todd, if I could I want to share just a little bit because I know this is our first time talking.
Yeah.
So first of all, I just want to honor you because I have been watching you in your journey, and I've been incredibly connected to you and quite aware of you for a long time. And I know how difficult and how not for the faint of heart this ascension journey is. And it's this way for all of us in our own specific ways, but so many of us have had matching. I actually reached out to Morgan at one point to give my love and also to honor your path because I had a similar, like, it's interesting how similar and locations and what was happening and the trust and faith. And I mean, just very interesting. And with a partner and just a lot of different aspects that were very similar with you.
Yeah.
And I just want you to know that you are so loved. And it has been a celebration for me to see you in your tenderness, your raw, real, authentic truth, and your courage, your courage to share that right there on the camera. And I want to talk about one an experience. So for probably since 2012, I've had an experience, what I just call divine shoulder tapping, where I get this kind of tap on my shoulder and I would be led to go online and search for, look for someone with a name. The name would come to me and I would search for them. And inevitably they would be online live.
Wow.
At the time. And this happened with you. And it happened with you when you were returning to, I believe it was Texas, and you were in a motel room.
Yeah.
Across from where you had your journey the years prior.
I remember.
And I was so connected to you. And at that time, I was still having trouble with Messenger and whatnot. And so I just started sending you text messages. And you had said at that moment that you were called to get online and to tell your truth. And you had tears in your eyes and you said, I really don't want to do this. There's no part of me that wants to do this. And I was writing to you at that moment and sending you absolute pure love and saying, yes, 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 you are so loved. This is so right. And I was thanking you in that moment for doing that. And what was so beautiful, Todd, was this was a moment where you were really, really on the edge, which we've all have been. Fingernails were just clinging. And this is survival moment. This is, I don't know what's next. And you were so beautiful and so in truth. And within the moments of you sharing that, and I was right there sending you messages, people were pouring in and you wept and you said, this is totally unexpected.
Yeah.
And it was just such a beautiful moment that and I have felt that as a real live in the now, in the real moment, real time experience with you that I've held in my heart since that day.
Wow.
And I have been rooting for you on this journey every moment. And I really wanted to share that with you because you are a beautiful, beautiful man, a beautiful heart, a heroic soul. A heroic soul. And that's really, I mean, honestly, that's why I wanted to come on the show when Morgan had talked about coming on. Originally, I thought, well, all I really want to do is honor Todd and let him know that he's seen and that he's loved, and that what you are doing in showing and revealing the divine masculine, this evolution, is so important and so celebrated by the feminine. It's so celebrated by the feminine on this planet, because these qualities that you are bringing forward are things we all are, holding out our hands and arms. We want to embrace them. This is the reflection of the divine. This is God as man. And it's just absolutely stunningly beautiful. It's beautiful to witness. And so I wanted to really, really, from my heart and my soul to yours, let you know that.
Wow.
So thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you
You're very
so
welcome.
much.
Thank you for Thank you for making me cry.
Oh,
Thank you, Ellie, for saying that.
Trying to hold the tears back.
oh, I love it. Just no holding back. I think all of us, that's a big truth for all of us, is that this is our time to let ourselves be, finally, and I know that so many of us have had the experience of feeling like we're holding our breath a lot, so much to go through and so much to process. And when these energies come in, how we started the show talking about the Kundalini and the fire, and we're feeling that fire, and we can be playful and laugh and all about that too. But what it's doing is it is consuming us. It's this white flame of purity, of creation, of God, of source, that is purifying all of us. And it has caught fire to every part of us. Yeah. It's like this beautiful blaze, and it is all consuming. It's all consuming. And the gift that we get is to be able to bear witness of God in all of us as the one.
144.
It's just beautiful.
There was 144 people right when you said that. Oh my God.
I love you, Todd. And you had a wonderful show just before this.
Yeah, that was good.
She was an incredible speaker, and I could just, the energy has been incredibly, incredibly intense. And as we were starting this show, I thought, I really just want to go straight from the heart, and connecting what I felt was so important to share to you. And then I also, I want to share a poem by a really beautiful brother, and that it just felt like the right poem. It's a very simple poem, but it just felt right for today, and maybe just help us kind of open up and share from our hearts and our love. So, because I love you, all I want for you is to be free from all thoughts, to be empty of everything you have known. All I want for you, my dear, is for God to explode into you. And that's by my beloved brother, Gathema Roba. And I feel like that is just the most beautiful, perfect poem for this 12-12-12.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for everything. Thank you for arranging this. Yes.
And thank you and Morgan for your willingness at kind of the last minute for me to change up what we were going to do. Because I just, today is an amazing 12-12-12, and I thought, let's have a love fest.
Yeah.
And and it's interesting, I feel called to say this too, about a love fest. It's about truth.
Yeah.
It's about the realness, the purity of source of God, of what's true for us in this now moment. And that can be shits and giggles and jokes and fun, And that can also be deep silence. That can be anything on the spectrum of the infinite possibilities of what we are and what we're expressing. And so I just wanted to say all of that and let you all know that I'm holding my heart and I'm sending it out to absolutely everyone who's watching now, who's watching in the future. It's all now. And we're all in this beautiful, pure heart space of source right now. So loved, so loved. It's so seen, so known. All one. And thank you all for being here. Thank you for choosing to be incarnated, for choosing this journey, all of the trials and tribulations and challenges, for being brave and beautiful and radiant, and for being together. I honor absolutely each and every one.
Whew. Well, that's pretty powerful. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. It was a short but powerful show. Thank God there's 3 other people on here, so I don't have to do so much talking now. You can't make this stuff up. Hi, Amanda. Came in late. Sorry.
I can hardly speak after that.
Oh, my sweet, beautiful sister. Oh,
You
actually, Amanda, let me tell something sweet. Maybe this will help us segue a little bit. I want to let people know that on this journey with my little shoulder tapping, I connected with Nicky Hamid in about 2014. And it was a very similar kind of thing, Todd, where it was like tap, 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 real time, Nicky and I was very deep in the ascension journey. And you know, basically I was a gypsy at that time. And really in 2014, there was very few people that were speaking about that specifically. There were, of course, spiritual way showers and people doing work, but very few people talking about kind of the stuff that I was just sharing. And there was Nicky, tap, 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 real time, we're connecting, and I like family. And I, of course, you know, was absolutely instantaneously in love with him because I remembered him. And but on this timeline, I just felt like I was like the little mini Tigger leaping into the big Tigger's arms and getting that warm, fuzzy, happy hug that I desperately needed, because I felt like there was just no one to communicate with for so long about what I was experiencing. It was just few and far between, and just little bits. Very few people could basically hold a conversation with the fullness. And so Nicky has just been a beautiful blessing in my life every moment since then. Mwah. And Amanda, sweet sister, Amanda, very similarly with the tapping. And I should preface this and say, because it's time to say these things now, whereas I never could feel comfortable saying these things before. This shoulder tapping is directly from source. This is a tapping and a knowing and a now experience of source, what I feel magnetizing aspects of itself to each other, to itself. And that's how you can actually explain people who have hundreds of people surrounding them, or thousands of things going on, or, you know, they never check their Facebook Messenger or their email, and they randomly right then and there are connecting to you, right? It's that source moment. And that when we are called and we respond and we don't hesitate, magic and synchronicity and all that beauty happens. And that's another experience I was having. That's how I met Amanda, who I just, you know, there aren't words. There aren't words when it's your heart, when it's your soul, when it's another aspect of the divine source, reflecting and communicating and witnessing. It's just so beautiful. So I wanted to just share how I'm very close and I love these two wonderful souls, and I asked them to please come and share this day and this show with me. So.
It's perfect. No.
Wow.
I see Nicky is ahead of the game as usual. Most of us have been aging prematurely, and I understand that it suspends, and then you start to get younger, and it looks like he's already got that. He's already turned the corner.
Yeah. Yay!
It's amazing because 2 days ago I went to the doctor because been doing physical things and I was stressed, and it's very seldom I feel stress, and I was totally stressed. And they found my blood pressure was 240.
Wow.
240. He said, you'll have to stop right now, otherwise you're going to have a stroke. And it was the last day of the ordeal, if you like, Glenn and I have been through. And I came home and said, okay, right. We switched from that reality to my reality. The next day I did my blood pressure and it was normal. So we get to choose, and we had to do what we had to do. Anyway, that was just so amazing. You know, thank you for the saying what you said. It's you and it's us. It's us, and it's such a privilege and an honor to be beside you.
And you.
And Todd and
Yes.
Amanda, you know, you feel my cup is already full, but it's overflowing and just bursting. And for all those who are listening, it's such ineffable. Thank you.
I'd like to thank you, Ali. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for bringing us, all four of us, together and bringing the people that are watching now together with us as one energy on the 12/12, which is a huge day of energy we can talk about later. But I want to thank you, Ali, because, you know, it was your wish that we come together, and I felt it was going to be quite a huge transmission or get together, and there can't be anything greater than being in the heart and being an open heart to each other. We've hidden our hearts for so long, too frightened to show our hearts to each other. And the times to come, we'll be doing it even more than we are right now. And that takes courage. It takes courage to be vulnerable, to be your absolute self instead of a false self or pretense. And it's actually the most beautiful thing each human being can do for themselves and for each other. So I just honor you all with all of my heart. I love you all, you know that. And I honor every single one that's here now in the audience. Please just feel how much you're seen and how much you're held right now. We're here for you. That's the only reason we've showed up today as four, is to honor you, support you, help you, reiterate that you're not going mad, that this is real. And show you that if we have the courage to just be love and to each other and to ourselves, then you can have the courage to be that to yourself and to everybody. So thank you all. Sorry, I waffled on then. But you know what happened?
No.
Listening to Ali speak when I came on, it's your vibration now. Your vibration actually transcends me. And so I'm witnessing myself listening to your words and then going into an altered state. And I'm like, it's in, and I'm trying to focus on you, but it's your vibration. Your energetic vibration is so high. If people just even come out of their mind of listening to the words and just listen to the sound of Ali, then they're going to receive in their body that energetic frequency that she's actually giving out, which is what was creating me to transcend and go into my higher consciousness and then try and come back and up. So this is an absolute blessing. Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Nicky.
God. Jeez.
It's huge.
It is huge. That's the power of speaking, just being brave and speaking the truth, no matter what you're talking about. It's amazing because we have a lot of amazing people on this show. We have 1,600 episodes now, and I still say, and I say it all the time, like when I've had shows with Amanda and Nicky, and you know, it's just the highest transmissions and downloads and activations and channelings come from this. We are the boots on the ground. The human is a hero. I know I sound like a broken record, but this is what it's all about. And what Amanda said about it's going to be happening more and more. I believe that's true. It's already happening.
I would love, Amanda, if you feel called to share about the energy so that some of the people that are watching, you know, they enjoy the references to how we're feeling today and our spin and our fire.
So today, I've received a lot of data knowing today. I didn't expect it. I never really listen to what others say. Sounds awful, but what I mean is I listen to my within. You know, I listen, but I don't necessarily think, oh, that's the truth. That's what I believe, because we create our own reality. So I knew 1212 would be quite big, but I didn't know why. I thought, let it unfold. The energies have been pouring in my awareness since half an hour after waking up today, 10 o'clock at night now. They haven't stopped coming through. These are physical energies that come into all of our bodies. It doesn't matter if you don't feel them. They're coming anyway. It's I didn't know this till I realized it within me, that it's a portal day. So what that means when it's a portal day is this light node gets effectively switched on, which allows the galactic timeline to marry with the Earth linear timeline. And what that means is lots of data is transferred, is known by the human, by the earthly timeline. And that's what's happened today. Huge amount of data. Try and be quick and say 12/12/19 is day one of the next 7-year cycle for the collective. So it's 7 years to the day since 12/12/12. From 12/12/12, that light node on that portal day opened up what was to be a mass awakening throughout humanity, one at a time. And we've been on that 7-year journey together. The next 7 years, which starts today, effectively, but I'll just tap into that a little bit more and say, is 7 years of higher self in the human physical body.
Wow.
Today, I've been talking quite a bit about passageways, corridors of time leading up to solstice. I only knew what I knew and I shared what I knew, but today I understand more. 12/12/19 through to 21/12, the solstice, you can liken to a birth canal. So the reason I've been saying lately, yesterday, this passageway you do alone, it's you and God. If you think of the birthing canal, it's kind of you alone. This is the passageway. It's like a birthing canal that leads us to solstice. Solstice, 7 years on from 2012, is the rebirth. It's a birth, not a rebirth. It's a birth of the higher self in human form. And we spend the next 7 years getting used to that, being it to the world, to ourselves. There's no other option within us, because in this ascension, the previous, and I don't mean this in a rude way, the lower self, meaning the lower energetic human that we were, okay, energy. The lower self dies in human form whilst living. I knew on Friday, very loosely, that I had died, even though I was living, and I paid no attention to it. So I get shouted on Saturday 3 times that my previous self has died. So we go through what was the descent, the darkest night, the darkest time of the soul, wanting to exit. We've done that. People are still to do it, and they'll do it next year as well. And then there's this birthing canal, which feels like you solo, ready for the birth of the higher self. And so these next 7 years on a collective timeline for all of us is one by one by one by one, the higher self being the human. And with that is all the attributes, the gifts that is normal for the higher self to be, that we've been tapping into, that we're aware of, but we become that. We become all that the higher self already is, but with this body. And that's where we breathe from, we speak from, we feel from, and we create from. And it's an energy. It's massive. And I didn't realize this is where we were. I was shown a bit in September. What I also want to say for people watching is you go through this at your pace, and it's perfectly timed for you. There will be an absolute mass of human beings awakened going through the gateway of the winter solstice, but they'll go through it in March. So if anybody wants to make a note, March to 2020, everyone's going to be talking about birth of the higher self. So there'll be some going through it now. They're the support team. They're helping. Helping everybody, supporting everybody, trying their best to assist. But there's going to be a mass of people doing this in March 2020. So that's roughly it. I can't believe it. It's
Yeah.
staggering.
Can I add to?
Please
add
tell me
to
I'm not mad.
You're not
uh,
mad. It's so perfect. It's perfect.
you know, you're totally loopy, and
Yeah, I
I'm with,
know.
I'm with. But there's parts, there's lots in this, and that was beautifully uh, uh, given, Amanda. Uh, there's a part that I think is probably a bit more the human part, which will help people understand what is coming at the times you're talking about. But it's about many of us have come here many times before. We are mighty soul beings, much more than this little human time here, but we're expressing it as human. And this higher self, I call it soul being. This soul being, what will happen with this change is that it's like over the aeons we have longed for, we have dreamed dreams of the new earth for aeons, not just in this lifetime, and we have accrued these dreams. We have formed them, and we have an escrew, I think they call it, an escrew of wealth, of creativity, of harmony, of blossoming of our creations in physicality and in fourth dimensional form. That is all accrued, and now it's time for the higher self to demonstrate these gifts back to the human, who can now begin to realize their dreams and longing in our, we'll say, physicality, that the physicality is changing at the same time. And so we're going to begin to see very quickly our dreams fulfilled in earthly terms. This,
Yeah.
and that in itself will also be a demonstration for those awakening, to spur them on, to make it easier for them, apart from the shine, the love that we are, that we bring. That, I mean, that's why we all came here, did we not? We came to bring the highest light possible within us, and we will continue. And whatever I've said is not it, because it's way beyond mind. But it's like I see through what you're saying, um, Amanda, that there are these other, if you like, more not materialistic, but more down to earth manifestations of what you're saying, the bringing out of the escrow of our dreams and wishes and desires for Nova Earth and humanity as a whole, that will be manifest. And I mean, this is where in the old days it would have been seen miraculous powers of the saint. But it's available to everyone, just like Jesus said. These things I do, ye shall do, and more besides. And it's everyone who's listening. It's that close, coming through this birth canal, coming out, because it's those powers that people say, why can't I manifest? You've already manifested it in your dreams and in your longing, and now it becomes possible. I know this to be true. I know it to be true. For me, wow, wow, wow. Sorry.
Very good. Where'd Allie go? Allie just popped out. Hang on. Somebody talk.
Well,
I
what
can't.
what you're talking about, manifestation and it being much quicker. Absolutely. I mean, this is the beauty of us taking these steps at a time, is that the information each of us individually receive for our storyline to help us ascend, everything you receive for your storyline starts to make sense. All the pieces start to join together. So the higher self, we'll stop calling it the higher self. I don't know what we call it, but it's in the human with those abilities that are already there as and already being used as the higher self, who's the creator of each person's reality and dream. It's just that because of the experience in linear time, in a lower consciousness, we experience a delay between our wishes and our desires and the manifestation of them. And then in between the desires, we then get doubt. Doubt creeps in because of the aspect of time. The only reason we can experience at this level of consciousness in this dream is because of time. It's the only way, because at the higher reality of ourselves, everything is instant, everything is now. So based on what you were saying, Nicky, in the last week and a half at the most, actually not even that, since the 4th of December, I'm getting shown, like physically with my eyes, consciousness. And the last thing I was shown, which is white light, it's a spark of white light. And the last thing I was shown, it was animated before my eyes, was one spark moving. I'm going to show you a picture of it. I'll just put it on the screen. It's going to look like a dot to dot, but I'll explain it. Can you see this spark here? Sorry,
Yes.
let's say that spark there. Yeah, say that spark there. And can you see the arrows? So
Yeah.
I was shown that spark moving to the next point, and then the next, and then the next. And I was watching it with my eyes, trying to make out if there was a pattern to it. And there wasn't. And it seemed haphazard as to where this spark went. And it was only today, because I've received so much data today. Before that, I received this image, which again, this just played out in my caravan. It was just right in front of my eyes. I'll show you that. So that was condensed sparks of light.
Wow.
All of those dots are sparks of light. And it looks so condensed, it almost looked like a circle. But that is source expressing itself out. And the more it goes out, you can see there are gaps between the sparks.
Yeah.
After that, that was on the 4th of December. On the 5th of December, there's the God spark. This is in my caravan. There's the God spark, which is always moving. These strands of light are always expressing out and moving back in. They're always like in motion, these pieces. But that transformed to this, which is the symmetrical cross. It was white light. So I saw the God spark transform into this. Now that wasn't, in a sense, the original source transferring into that symmetrical cross. That's us. It's showing us our consciousness and what we're doing. It's all in alignment. And that was on the 5th. And then on the 9th, so just 3 days ago.
That was my birthday.
On your birthday.
My birthday. Oh, that's the one. Oh,
there's the God spark. Now, I didn't understand, based on the fact that I've been shown so much patterning and geometry, I didn't understand why this spark had this haphazard movement. The same spark was moving, all around until today, the galactic portal day, when more data comes through on portal days than any other days of the year. What it's shown us relates, so this is a long way of talking about what Nicky's saying. What it shows is our consciousness being able to instantly be in any place. So this is about manifestation. Our higher self resides in no time. It's outside of time. So
Right.
as we become the higher self, so we can be here, have a desire to be over here. And because we are higher self outside of time, we can manifest in an instant. We can manifest in an instant. There's no time. That's what we're moving into.
Wow.
So, you know, it thrills my heart because we work so hard. Everybody works so hard, holds to their truth and their journey. And, you know, to know that people are not going to be without through their own work on themselves. They'll be able to manifest very, very, very quickly. You know, once this happens to each person, and it will one by one. That's for sure.
Wow.
Yeah, started.
So I'll be on the haystack with you, Amanda.
You'll be sitting on the
Me
haystack.
too.
Yeah, and we'll all be sucking on straw.
I'll be sucking on the straw. Yeah.
I will be. I'll be sucking on my piece of straw,
Yeah.
watching the world go by. Yeah.
There we go.
So,
Whew. Powerful.
yeah.
Powerful medicine.
Amanda, if I might just ask you if you've noticed this on the path recently, you know, speaking about kind of instant manifestation, one of the things that I've been noticing is as my partner and I have done deep inner work, like we'll notice that there's some type of misalignment, a kind of issue because something's going on in our external world. And we'll go in and we'll start doing the list. We'll start processing. What is this? We look directly at that interaction and say that external person. And we say, okay, that's me. What's going on in me? And we look at all the qualities, you know, that show up. And then one of the processes that we started doing was calling forth from inside of us, bringing the person in front of us in a neutral energy. So I look at their eyes, I see their presence in their human form, and I say, thank you. And I call them by name. Thank you, Bob Jones, for being in my life, for being here. And then I start to focus on the positive energy that Bob Jones is bringing to me, and then also the negative things that pop up in me, right? Because we're all processing out the judgment too, and the duality, which is very honest for all of us.
Yeah.
But interestingly, we will energetically start to wrap an energy, almost like this white divine love Christed energy from the heart space, wrapping energetically that person and all of our perceptions until it feels so pure, like pure love, almost like taking the polarities, merging it into one, just one beingness with gratitude. And that takes time because you can feel, you feel your frequency, you feel how your frequency is relating to that external presence, right? You almost can kind of feel like in a record, if it skips, if you're hearing a record skips or there's a deep groove, you feel that inside yourself, that there's something in your frequency that's really got a deep groove in that particular place, or it's skipping, you're still stuck on that one little spot. And as we started doing this, it would be literally within hours, the reality completely changed. The circumstance would be completely different. We're moving forward in a direction, there was an agreement made, and it disappears. It changes on a dime. It's 180 degree. It's as though we've just jumped timelines in the quantum. and that the interaction that had just happened no longer happened. And these things are happening so quickly that it's really boggling for the human that's still dealing with the day-to-day stuff, because we're actually altering that physical day-to-day stuff. And I'm mentioning this now because I have a feeling there are others that are noticing this, that they are doing the work and they feel that they may have their next house they're going to stay in, or the next, opportunity that's going to provide them income to do the next thing they're trying to do, or they've found the right partner for their project, that missing link that's going to help them finally. And then almost instantaneously, it seems like it flips. It's flipping as you're stepping forward towards it. And it feels, so, it just feels very surreal. Like how you were saying earlier, Amanda, about the structures. You've been talking a lot about our perception of structures and the density and how solid we've all experienced it. And yet as we go more and more expanded, we really start to see how it's a hologram. I mean, we see that it's not solid, and we can actually feel ourselves altering the interactions and the physicality of things, which is very new. It's new to be playing in that energetic clay and letting go of our old habitual behavior, which is what our humans wanted, that security. We wanted some stability. We want to know where we're going tomorrow, kind of thing. And in one particular 24-hour period for me, I counted 15 times. And I had to have my day-to-day human go through the emotions in and out, very, very quickly, in response to how the things were shifting, and go, neutrality, get back to the middle. Allie, that's not okay. We're not going there. Oh, okay. That's shifted, or that communication is now changed because I just went inside with the effort to purify this relationship, this interaction within me. And I'm sharing this because this is definitely something that has been just on, it's just been happening so often. And it's something I know I had reached out to Amanda about, and I said, I don't know, it's funny. It helps to be able to share this with someone and know that you aren't going mad, because you're completely sane. You are completely sane. Your presence is always present. There's no question about whether or not this is, illness or something of that nature. But it's so quantum and it's so quick. As we're willing to say yes to that, right, to our higher self, as we're willing to go with that frequency higher and higher and ride the wave and say, I'm open, I'm trusting, and we're letting go of doubt. We're letting go of fear. We're saying, show me. I am here. I'm here. And our gift is that we're here, and we get to say, we see one another, right? So in every moment we're doing this work internally with our external brothers and sisters that we're processing our polarities with, it's with this gratitude and witness, because even the person that's maybe telling me the bad news, that person is still showing up in my world as the divine.
Yeah.
And the gift is for me to work that in, to find that love and to bring that polarity back and say, okay, this person is not trying to be mean to me. This person is just catalyzing me. This person is catalyzing me into my more higher and purer state. But this interesting thing about the manifestation, I think, is really, this is a beautiful subject. And I think we're going to expand on it more and more. Like you said, Amanda, with people going through this birth canal and into March, I think a lot of us are in the birth, the expansion and contraction, and it is like labor. And I can only say that because I just had my very first baby in June.
Wow. Congratulations.
And I, thank you.
Wow.
But it was labor. It was expansion, contraction. And these energies, like you're describing, Amanda, is that. It is that. We feel this incredible expansion. And today with this 12-12-12, it's off the charts. It's just, I couldn't even begin to start to even try to describe it. But there's this incredible expansion, and then you feel that contraction. It just it feels so incredibly intense and from a completely different place.
Yeah.
And so we're processing in between, right? It's that in between. And you know, I don't know, I just want to say, for me, this was a beautiful opportunity today to come and share, but I was concerned I wasn't going to be able to talk today, because I haven't really been able to talk the past few days. So much is processing. It's hard to form a coherent sentence or describe what just happened. You know, it's really like that. But I'm interested, because the birth, I feel like we're birthing our us, but we're also birthing, as Nicky said, this new earth, that we have this escrow, right? We have all these beautiful things we have within us, and they are going to see the light of day. You know, Todd, you are going to have a beautiful, wonderful, magical, even better than you've ever imagined platform. I've seen it. I feel it. I know it in my heart. It just is. It's already is. But it's going to be by far greater than anyone has even conceived of, because we haven't been at the level of conception that lives at, if that makes sense. It's kind of like, you know, this is going to be a baby that has, you know, better than any baby that ever could be conceived of, because it hasn't been conceived of before now.
True.
And these energies that are here are just, wow, brand new for all of us. So yeah, anyway, as you can tell, this energy is really getting me. So
No, you're doing fantastic.
Beautiful. It's beautiful what you say.
I'm frying my technology too. I
noticed.
It's funny. I had to switch to the phone, and yeah.
Anyway. Getting fried all day, the first two shows. We couldn't even get on Facebook with the first show. But I think there is this is what you're talking about. That's what Morgan does. That's what she anchors, you know, and it's that whole, like you said, that it's owning the bad stuff, but also owning the good stuff, right? I mean, these mirrors are, like you said, they're not really here to point out deficiencies or pats on the back, so to speak. It's a catalyst. It's a catalyst for unity consciousness. I go through the same type of exercises, and I have been consistently with certain people until I can reach a point of balance. And but I think we don't have a choice in that. We all get confronted with that, whatever our method is. The universal energies are creating those catalyst opportunities. But what I wanted to just say real quick and then pass it on is there actually is a direct connection between what we're calling instant manifestation and these integrations, this coalescence of the things that we see outside of ourselves that are actually us. There's no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So because we're on this timeline collectively as a whole, it is the collective timeline for the human being, the older self, the lower self, if you like, to go, and the higher self move in. And the only way the higher self can move in is through the human taking responsibility for the creation of their whole reality.
Yeah.
My reality, you take it for yours, you take responsibility for yours. And that's what Ali and her partner did, is in that circumstance. And we all do, and we, as Todd says, we do it our way. Doesn't matter how you do it. It's whatever suits you. Your way is what works for you. Doesn't matter, but we have to take responsibility, and this is a journey of taking responsibility for the whole of our manifestation, because it's actually our higher self that manifests it all anyway. So if we're going to be our higher self in the human body, we have to be responsible for the reality we create. And that higher self, being in a unity consciousness, isn't going to be doing any harm to the ones outside of itself, because it knows it's part of itself.
Yeah.
So it's about creating with the highest intention, which is what you did. And so because of this timeline now, the lower self is dies, the higher self is phasing in, will phase in. And because it's phasing in, it's not suddenly instant. This is why we're seeing the holograph flickering and collapsing. And so it's not that the holograph suddenly changes, it's that we experience these phenomena, and it is us dissolving our reality from the inside of us. So we do it within ourselves, and it shows on the outer. And because we're in this birthing canal, we're not there yet. So it's like off on. And thank goodness, because we would go mad if it was instant, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure I would.
Yeah.
It's very beautiful how it all works.
It is, you know, and one way I put it, because it's kind of, you know, I like it simple. We all like it as simple as possible. Is that one thing that perhaps we could all, well, we all agree with, that we're in the realm of free will. We wouldn't have got in this mess if we weren't given free will, because we knew. So we come into this universe. I mean, universe, it includes the EGs and everything. It's a universe, a vast universe of free will. And free will means choice. So we have to have choice, always choice. And now it's, instead of the little self trying to make it and choose and control, we're giving up that control, because we know we are much, much more. And so we choose that much, much more. And so we start to be looking out there through this being, soul being, and there's little Nicky doing what he does. We're switching from the preoccupation with identity, who am I, to the realization, what am I? I'm a vast being of light and love, of layers upon layer upon layers. That's way, way beyond logic. And so I've taken the virtual reality glasses off, and I'm starting to look at the movie. And I can create in that movie the more I'm coming from this point of view. Now, for me, I mean, I may have done the clearing thing consciously. I don't remember doing much, but I see the great, great value in that. But for me, it is, as soon as I get into difficulty with a person, or somebody is throwing something at me, it's in my hologram, it's my creation. But for me, it says, who's the person looking out through that? So I give them their reality and their free will, even if it's in my hologram. Who's the divine being in there? And can I see that? And when I see that, it clears in me by seeing the light and the truth of who they are. Then all those things fall away and I don't react. And when I can do it like that, that's how it's been for me through the life. So in other words, we go through the clearing, but we get quicker and quicker and quicker until you don't even think about it, it happens. It happens just by your decision. Again, free will, a choice. I choose to see the divine in everything. So I see it in you, and you, and you, and you. And when you react, or when I see a reaction, and I get the reaction, then it's up to me to look a bit deeper. And when I see that depth, the reaction goes. And I stop reacting because I've made the jump. I've made the immediate jump to truth, from high self to high self. So, what was I going to say? The free will thing, and then people come in about shadow, and I believe I use the word shadow, but shadow to me was just how free will was created. Free will there needed to be choice, so there had to be something created between, if you like, dark and light, because it was all one. It was all the in-breath, out-breath, etc. There was this demarcation created by created beings we call shadow, and that was the point of choice. It's the point of echo, and it was not neutral. It was neither good or bad. It was just a point of choice. It was like the piece, the little bit of grit that goes into the oyster that creates the pearl.
Mm.
We choose, and by choosing the light, we get to know by choice the love and the immensity of who and the light and the brightness and the shine of who we are, and that is our gift back to God.
Mm.
That's the gift to God. That's why the whole, if you like, game was created, we could say. But we must have that choice.
I love that analogy about the oyster and the pearl. If you look at all the granules and grit, those are those people and those external things that agitate you. And in the end of the day, they've actually polished you. Because
they enable you to make the decision to higher self, or the decision to light.
Yeah.
And the decision to higher self is just a beginning, because it's more and more and more and more. It's more subtle, deeper, more expansive. 5D is only a choice point. 5D is a choice point to choose love and unconditionality. But there's more and more and more and more behind it all. That's what we're feeling, because we're sharing, but we all know it's beyond the words.
Mm. Yeah.
I so love you all, and I so love every listener there. And we're one. We're so entangled. Oh, it's a hug.
Yay! Yes, a big giant hug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
can I say one thing about that too? Because this is something that kind of surprised me, and this might help someone else. I have spent a lot of my life knowing that I'm meeting the divine. And that's wherever I've gone. And I've gone through all kinds of funny experiences and things that, especially in the United States, that people fear. So for instance, I was working in an industry that was getting heavily audited. And that meant that everybody working in the industry was having to go see the IRS agent to get audited. And people were freaking out. And I said, meaning it, but my coworker thought I was joking. I said, well, I'm just going to go see the divine. They're like, what? I'm like, I'm going to go see God, the IRS agent, And I kid you not. Yes, in fact, that is what exactly happened. And I had a beautiful experience and made a friend in that experience. But so seeing the divine has been an active, that's just been my reality, is what I should be honest about. That's my reality. My reality since I was a little girl is I'm here and everyone's God. I see you. I see you. I see you. And I would say that as a little girl. That was something my little tiny 3-4-year-old self would walk around. I see you. I see you. Mm. The thing that has been surprising to me on this journey at this point in this birth canal stuff, and being really, really honest about that, is that the human, what the human is experiencing is very unique in that for someone like me who's looked at the world from a bit of a higher frequency perspective, experiencing the human at the physical level where we get imprinted and it's in our energetic physical body. So earlier when I was talking about using that process of polarity, bringing the person into we're talking about people that usually represent something that's been a core theme in our life. I think a lot of us are really purging out like the final, we're talking mother, father stuff from, our incarnation, the beginning, like maybe first traumas, root core mother, core father, issues. But it came into my consciousness that, oh, yeah, it's imprinted. There's a frequency imprint in my physicality. And that is what and because I could go from these higher perspectives and work it through and feel a massive relief, over and over and feeling, okay, I'm expanding, I'm more in flow, all of this. But in this particular point that Amanda was sharing, and so beautifully, Amanda, you so articulate these processes so well. The experience of coming face to face in the death of the human self, this aspect of realizing the frequency imprint in the physical, in the lower density aspect, and loving yourself and loving that father, that mother self, whatever deep groove is in our record, right? Whatever skip that we've expanded really far out. So it takes years and years and years for us to get a skip, right? And then as we're in this, everything's condensed and confined. So we are meeting our truth every moment, every moment, every moment. And you can't escape it because we are here at the precipice of this birth. This experience is coming to this crescendo now. So we don't have all this quote unquote human time to work through and get acclimated to the next time this is going to skip. It's like, here we are. Okay, work through this. And I just find it fascinating how it affects the physical. And you, Todd, saying, the human is the hero. Those words kept coming to me as I was really focused on feeling this physical lower density release in the human. I was saying, I have to love Allie, all that Allie is, blood, bones, and feet on the ground. Not just all the aspects of my divinity, my fluidity, all the different levels and aspects and things that I know myself to be, but this little Allie too. The one that has been, here on the ground, taking the hits, getting up, in some respect, I feel like all way showers are like Rocky Balboa. It's like he was the guy, he gets in there and he just won't quit. He's just going to keep going and everything's coming at him from every which direction. He's like, no, I'm here. And I don't care if I'm just bleeding and someone has to hold me up at the end, right? I am going to be here. I'm going to do this, and our hearts, we're all so committed. And I do feel that we need to honor that human aspect. And I feel like so many of us can get caught up in talking about beautiful energies and, oh, the flower. And we do that. And we do that because we do want each other to focus on the beauty and the truth and to remember source and divinity and to raise our frequency. However, so many of us have hearts that are so tender in our human self. We've lost everything. We've lost all of our relationships. We've lost careers. We've lost money. We've lost, everything. So many of us have gone through the stripping away, and not once, not twice, many, many, many times. And many of us are going through those things, and yet we're still giving to others. We're still taking the time to spend 2-3 hours helping someone go through a process, and we ourselves are in one. We ourselves are going through it. And there's this energy that I really wanted to bring out today to everyone who's watching and to all of us, which is I just want everyone to know that you are seen, you are held, You are loved in all that you are, and especially this human aspect of you that has had the courage to be here. This is not for the faint of heart. And we all really need to be able to feel loved. And today I want everyone to really feel that, to feel that. And I've been dealing with that myself, loving the little Allie, the human Allie with her faults, you know, get excited, think I figured something out, and boom, oh nope, I guess I didn't figure that out. You know, we're all doing our best. We are all doing our best. And we are all the most hard on ourselves.
Mhm.
Every beautiful soul is the most hard on themselves. So this whole judgment piece, and I know a lot of people can probably relate to this, the hardest is ourselves.
Yeah.
For us, for this community, it's when we are looking at how we are harshly judging ourselves.
Yeah.
It's so much easier for tender hearts to not judge others, to share that compassion to others. But it's a whole different thing to look ourselves square in the eye and say, wow, on every little level, we tend to critique ourselves, and all of that has to go through this process. It's like we are getting the opportunity to be pure, to return to love in its purity. And it's not easy. It's not easy, but it's beautiful and it's worth it. It's beautiful and it's worth it.
Yeah,
And yeah.
God, I think what coming through what you're saying are the words innocence of being. Human
Yes.
might be the hero, but it's this innocence of being. You and I and everyone, we're human, and our nature is this innocence of being. You have done nothing wrong. You have never done anything wrong. You should never have been judged. You never judge yourself because you are innocent. You were born innocent. You chose to come to make choices, and your choices of love. But in your other choices, there was always this innocence of being. This is who you are. So it's like taking back our innocence of being. And it is not weak. It is mighty. It's divine. Each one of us is totally innocent. So thanks, Ali, because that's what I feel from what you say.
And just going back, thank you, Ali, for bringing that up, because I think things have been intense for most people in the last few months, intentionally so, because of where we are and what we're doing as a collective. In other words, it's not one person doing this every couple of thousands of years. This is a mass of human beings doing it together as a collective, and then more and more and more. And we're doing it within this condensed timeline. So what I wanted to just say back about what you were saying, Ali, is whoever shows up in our reality, we've placed them there. If we react from neutrality to somebody who says or does an act, there's nothing for us to do. If we've reacted from just neutral, doesn't affect us, there's no work, there's nothing to be seen within us. If we get triggered by somebody in our reality, then it's just also a gift for us to look within, because there's a reason we have been triggered. And what Ali was saying about these last ones seem to go back to childhood, I so agree. I think the last ones are core childhood things that we created a pattern in our childhood for innocent reasons, and we've kept that going through our life. So whoever's in our reality, they're all a gift to help us grow. If we're not triggered, it's confirmation that we've grown. If we are triggered, they're a gift for us to see, oh, there's something within me that I haven't spotted. Let me look within. Because that sets us free even more and more. And so these times that are hard, it kind of, because we're all in this together and we're doing this together en masse, it explains why we have people that have awakened, say 70 years ago, and they're still on the ascending path. And they're wondering, well, why have I been awake all this time? And then you've got somebody who's been awake for a few years, who's on the ascending path. You know, why am I still here? Why are we still doing this? It's because the collective timeline had not arrived. So we have saved some juicy distortions because we had to. We couldn't clear them. If the person that awoke 70 years ago, who's in their 80s now, watching this, and there are people out there who are 80, 85, wondering, well, why don't I feel this? Why don't I feel unity? Why don't I feel my higher self? They have held on to maybe one distortion. Why? To keep them here so that they can do it with the rest of us all together. Do you see how it works? It does. Everybody has held on. Do you know what I found Tuesday this week? What chained me and kept me in the illusion? There's something that keeps all of us in this illusion so that it doesn't burst apart. And what kept me in the illusion, and an unawakened, beautiful family member, blood family, actually helped me to see this on Tuesday from her heart, is emotion. So I have always been at the mercy of other people's emotions. If they cry, I feel them and want to help, I go soft. If they get angry, I go hurt. If they give me love, I'm all happy and glad. I'm the happy bunny in the world. I've been at the mercy. What's chained me to the illusion has been emotions. And once I traced it back to my childhood. And I saw the exact point that this pattern embedded where another family member's emotions affected me as a child. And that got embedded. And I can see it throughout the whole of the life. And that's one big juicy one to say right till the end, you know. Everybody thinks, well, why am I still going through this stuff? Why am I still getting this? Why is it still coming up? Why? Because you also are waiting for this timeline. You've got to hang on to something because we're doing it together. And if you hadn't held on to one distortion, you'd have ascended 20 years ago, 60 years ago, 80 years ago. And that is not the game that we're all in, doing it together. It's just amazing. It really is magical how it's all unfolding, where we're doing this individually but together en masse.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
So in
It's
other
so
words,
brilliant. It's just
don't
so
beat
brilliant.
yourself up why am I still having this problem? Why does this keep showing up in my reality? Don't be so hard on yourself. You've been saving it, man. You know, you've been saving it for the finale to clear it, because once you clear it, once we're clearing these last ones, the illusion is now starting to fall apart from within us. Comes from within us. That's my perception anyway.
So beautiful.
It doesn't,
So beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, yeah, if you guys want to have a last word, it's been an hour and a half. It's been a beautiful hour and a half. I'd keep going, but we have another show in 30 minutes. Wow. I had no idea this was going to happen today.
I'd just like to thank Ali so much for bringing us together. You're one beautiful, beautiful heart and soul, and I am so honored to know you and have you in my reality. Thank you, Ali. Nicky, you know I love you with all of my heart. No words to you. And Todd, my beautiful soul brother, I'm always connected to you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being. Thank you.
Nicky? Nicky. Oh, Nicky froze.
Nicky. Oh.
Was there some crazy stuff going on behind Nicky the whole time?
Yeah.
There was a hole.
And the line. Yeah.
There was a hole in the clouds, and then it became like a star.
Yes.
There's purple and pink.
I thought
Yes.
Yes.
And there was some kind of let's see if I can get him back. There was some kind of fairy thing going on, or with wings, or an angel, or something. I don't know what it was.
It kept growing and growing, and he's speaking of innocence of being, and it was just okay.
Yeah,
amazing.
He's amazing. He's amazing. You're both amazing, and it's a great pleasure to meet you, Ali, like this. And I do remember that what you brought up at the first of the show. I remember it very well, and it brought back a lot of intense memories. But so thank you for that, and thank you for putting this together.
Oh, and can I please say that I just adore Morgan too. The two of you are just absolutely beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And I can't wait to see you both. I know that we're all going to be getting together in person.
I agree.
At some point, all of us, I just know it. And we're going to be like little kids having the best time ever. Just really, really, we're going to be able to play and have fun. And we're going to be able to spend time together without speaking a word.
Yeah, exactly.
And just knowing.
Exactly.
Just knowing. So if I want to just read that poem one more time, just for the people that are watching, because I feel like it was just so beautiful for today.
Yeah. I just want to say too on what you said though. I adore Morgan too. She's a little upset with me today because my Kundalini's running wild and I'm chasing her all over the house. But
you'll be nice to her.
No. Believe me, I know. I know the rule. I know the game. Believe me, yes. I'm just making a joke. But
will you please give her a hug and a kiss from me, though?
I will do that. I will do that. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. And Amanda, I love you. Thank you, sister.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh.
Amanda's
huge, Anna. Huge.
It's interesting because right now the three of us here, and I can still feel Nicky, but the energy in the heart space is just massive.
Yeah.
The frequency is massive. So, okay.
And the other thing I noticed too is the way you explained all that at the end, the last time you were talking, it's the same language Morgan speaks. It's the exact same thing. A few different words, but it's the exact same thing. I can feel it. So I'm surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some type of deeper connection there.
I know what you're thinking, Todd.
What? See you in the ethers.
Wow.
See you in the ethers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead with
I
the
love
poem.
you in this for everyone, Because I love you, all I want for you is to be free from all thoughts, to be empty of everything you have known. All I want for you, my dear, is for God to explode into you. Be well, brothers and sisters. You're loved, you're seen, you're held. Thank you for the gift of your presence in all of our lives.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Ali. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Nicky.
Thank you, Todd, Nicky.
We have to do it again sometime. Take care. Bye. Bye, Amanda.